What's up, everybody? Talia Reiser here. Hashtag live if you're live, hashtag replay if you are on the replay. Coming in hot. Man, it's day 3 of this 14-day challenge. And today was the first day I really just didn't want to go live. I was excited the first 2 days, and then today I'm like, I don't want to go live. But I'm here. I'm showing up. What's up, Steve? And I am going to talk about this. I was like, what am I going to talk about today? Because you got to come up with things to talk about for 14 days, right? And I was thinking about something that a lot of people struggle with, and something that I definitely have struggled with a lot in the past. What's up, David? Hope you did your video today. David's doing the 14-day challenge with me. Hashtag live if you guys are live. Hashtag replay if y'all on the replay. My name is Talia Reiser. For those who don't know me, because for real, there are a lot of new friends on my Facebook. Like, I don't know. I've added like 200 people in the last 2 days. What's up, Caitlin? Am I still your spirit animal? Didn't you say I was your spirit animal? I remember. What's up, Michaela? Hey. All right, you guys. So listen, this is something that a lot of people struggle with, okay? And it's something that I struggled with for a long time, but I have gotten a lot of comments of people saying that they think that I don't struggle with this. And it's actually not the truth. I just choose to deal with it differently. And today I'm going to share with you how I deal with it. I'm going to talk about 3 things. 3 things that, there's a lot of things that are important, but these 3 things, what's up, Adele? These 3 things are really, really important in my journey, and they may speak to you. So if you are a person that struggles with the F word I'm about to talk about, then you might find this helpful. So everybody knows 2 of my favorite F words are food, and the other one is something I probably shouldn't say on Facebook Live. My husband knows I have a mouth of a sailor. It is bad. I pray that God would just help me take away some of the bad words that come out. I don't know what it is. I feel like I could express myself differently, but the F word happens a lot. Audie may have been 18 months old and said something on Facebook Live or not, actually, it was a phone call. It was a FaceTime with Matt while he was working, because he used to work in Texas and we lived in a different state. So basically he would visit us at home and we'd only get to see him on a FaceTime call. And Audie was sitting in the bath. She's 18 months old, and she goes, that F word. We'll just say duck. Duck. And I'm like, okay. So I might need to watch that. So yeah, we've got 2 F words that I love. Food, and we'll just say duck. We'll say duck for now. Drop a duck emoji in the comments if you struggle with that too, because I know I can't be the only female out there that has a sailor mouth. Someone needs to wash it out with soap. I don't know. Maybe it makes me who I am. I'll just embrace it. Whatevs. Okay, so the other word, that one F word that is really gonna F you up, it's fear. It is fear. Fear is going to stop you from pretty much anything you want to do in life. Fear is going to prevent you from following through. Fear is going to prevent you from being a confident person and doing the things that you want to do in this life. It really is, but only if you let it. Only if you refuse not to work on it and work through that fear. So I'm going to tell you the 3 things that really have stood out for me. And I will tell you, people look at me and they're like, oh, Talia, you just take on a goal and you go after it. You're fearless. Like, you don't struggle, like you just do it, and I wish I could have your confidence, and da 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 da. And I'm like, yes, that's all well and good, and thank you so much, but let me just tell you what happens right here, okay? Because there is fear. There are totally tons of things that I do to mentally stop myself. But you know what I do when I feel those things? I go and I do it anyway. And so my first thing is I embrace the fear. And that might sound like, oh, well, you know, that sounds easy for you, right? But fear helps us actually, if you think about it this way, fear helps us actually generate results. Fear helps us generate results. If you use fear and you act, you're going to get results that you want and you need through acting on that fear. Okay? So if you're running a business, if you have a goal that you're going for, if you're training for a marathon, if you think of a big, I always say big, hairy, audacious goal, a big, hairy, like nasty goal. Think of your big, hairy goal and think about how it makes you feel. You're like, oh gosh, I could never do that. But you break it down. You break it down and you embrace the fear that surrounds it and you chip away at it. So I'll tell you a story. I'm going to tell you a few stories. When I started competing in strength sports, for those who don't know me, I was a sponsored athlete in 3 different strength sports at the same time. I was ranked top 10 in the United States in strong woman. So picking up cars like boulders and, you know, doing all kinds of crazy strong people stuff. And then I was top 10 in the world in my weight class in powerlifting. And powerlifting is like, you know, squat, bench, like you bench press, and a deadlift, like you pick up weight. Like it's not Olympic lifting. It's not that. That's not powerlifting. So you total those 3 numbers, you get like 3 attempts at each of those lifts, and you total those 3 numbers for your biggest, that's like your big mamma jamma number, okay? So in my weight class at the time, I was number 10. I was actually within top 10 in the world. And this was back in like 2013, 2014. And then I was also ranked number 1 in Tennessee for arm wrestling, right arm. And then I was number 2 left arm because I'm weaker on the left. Now I just arm wrestle people for food and drinks on date night. So Matt likes to hustle. You know, we are a hustling couple. If we can hustle, always have a good time. But I will tell you this. So one thing that I became kind of known for, and I had people tell me that I was crazy, that I would fail, that it was a dumb idea, that I was stupid for doing it. I had professional athletes, strength athletes tell me like, why would you do this? This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Like you're not going to do well at all. Speaking death over me, right? So the thing was, there was a competition every year, and it was a strongman competition. And it was held by the like organization at the time in the United States that we competed in, which is a different organization now. It's changed. And then there was like a professional powerlifting like organization, the USPA, US Powerlifting Association, USPA. There's many different federations, okay, you guys, so let's not get into that. But they held a competition simultaneously in the same building. So there was a powerlifting event going on and a strong woman event going on. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do both at the same time because it hasn't been done and it freaks me out and I wonder if I can do it. I wonder if I can freaking do it. Like, can I do this? And so it was scary. And I'm like, how am I going to train for both of those things at the same time? And I thought, you know, all I can do, it scares me, right? All I can do is think about a way to break this down and show up every day and work toward training for that. And then when the event comes, I'm just gonna go for it. I'm just gonna hit it, see what happens, right? And that's what we have to do with our fear and the things that surround the goals that we want, right? We have to think about them in that way, embrace it, understand that you're going to be afraid of things. You're going to have fear. It's going to happen. And so I showed up to that event, my very first year that I tried it. and I placed first in both events. I placed first in both events. I was literally picking up a car. I deadlifted a car 17 times. And then I ran over to the powerlifting competition and I put on my singlet, I chalked up, and I deadlifted a barbell that was 408 pounds. Yeah. It's amazing what happens when you just show up every day, chip away at your fear, and then go and freaking do it. Because here's another thing about fear. And what did I do? I named it. I named my fear. I was afraid that I was going to fail. There was obviously a safety issue. I'm like, oh my gosh, am I going to break my body? Now, I don't recommend like doing this unless you're a trained athlete, but think about it. What are you afraid of? Name it. Write it down. Write it down. There's something that happens to your brain when you put pen to paper. So take your fear, write it down, type it, drop it in the comments. What are you afraid of? What is your biggest fear? What is your biggest fear? I want to know. I want to know what your biggest fear is. I want you to name it. I want you to talk about it. I want to see it. I want you to see it typed out. You have to be vulnerable with yourself. My biggest fear is what a lot of people's fear is fear of success. It's not always fear of failure. It's fear of success. And how then once I hit this level of success, like how am I going to maintain that, right? How am I going to like live up to that? Because once you hit it, like the only way is down, right? No. It's not. These are stories that we tell ourselves. So listen, embrace your fear. That fear, when you act on it, when I embraced my fear and I acted on it and I broke it apart and I named it and I understood that my fear was I was going to go and what if I was successful at these two competitions, but also what I was afraid of failing too. What if I go and I do fall on my face and everybody told me I was going to be a failure? Everybody told me I was going to screw up. Everybody told me I was going to get hurt. Everybody told me that there was no way that it could be done. Well, I have been, as far as I know, to this day, I'm the only person that's ever done it. No one's ever tried it again. And this event happens every freaking year. So, hello haters, take notes because that's the only thing you can take from me. Okay? Sorry. Anyway, so when you ignore that fear though, you want to name your fear. You know why? Because when you ignore it, you feed it. Ignore it, not going to go away. Ignore it, it grows. So keep being afraid. Keep stopping yourself. If you don't want to achieve anything in life, if you want to stop exactly where you are, continue to be a dreamer, a wisher, a hoper, and watch other people achieve their goals, keep ignoring your fear. Just ignore it. Don't do anything about it. Don't act on it. Yeah, pretty much. And I knew that that was not the alternative that I wanted. So I gave you the example of the competition, but I mean, it's that way with anything in life, anything that I've ever done. Since that point, and even before that, I remember, I'm a licensed esthetician and I was in skin school and, I left graduate school with a semester left, you guys. Oh, my parents were so proud to go to beauty school. Oh, they were like, yeah, great, Talia. That's so cool. You almost have a master's with, a semester left, but you're just going to leave and go to learn how to wax some vajayjays and scrub people's faces. That's what you're going to do. Good job. So proud. But I knew that I just had to go do it. And I paid for it. Right? Well, I graduated top of my freaking class. I won a competition with the skincare company that I partnered with out of school to start my own business, which I didn't start in a commission position. I opened up my own business when I was 24 years old. Another risky thing, another thing that I was deathly afraid of. What if I failed? What if I would be successful? And I went to California and I met with the CEO of this company, which was and probably still is the #1 professional skincare line in the world. And I sat there and I gave her my resume. I won a competition to go and just have like a day with CEO and a weekend like in LA and get treated and wine and dine. But you know what I also went? I went there with the idea as a 24-year-old woman, this could be a chance to get my name in front of people that matter for my career. And while I was so nervous, I was shaking my cold, clammy hands, I gave her a resume. She said, "What is this?" I said, "It's my resume. And while I am starting my own business, I would really love to work in some capacity for this company in a corporate job at some point in my career." And she just looked at me and she was like, "Well, okay, I'm going to keep your resume." And the cool thing is that it was like a little over a year later, they also partnered with continuing education for estheticians. It was called it is the International Dermal Institute. They offered me a job as a master trainer. I didn't take it because I had a booming skincare business. And I was like, "Are you crazy? I'm not going to take that job because I could make a whole lot more money waxing every 15 minutes." And I was hustling. I was working 4 days a week. I was 25 years old, owned my own house, a vehicle. And I was just, chilling in Nashville. So I just say that because I've learned every time I've been fearful of something, I have learned something from it. And every time I've been fearful and I've chipped away at those goals, I have learned something valuable about myself. It has instilled more confidence. Every single time I face it, I become more confident. So even though I wanted to avoid it and I made myself do it, I embraced it. It made me get into action. I named it. I wrote it down. I didn't ignore it because I didn't want to feed it. And then number 3, this is it. This is it, y'all. This is it. Proportion. Here's Noodle. It's gonna bomb. This cat, man. It's in all my lives. Proportion. How big of a deal is your fear? For real. Most people, do you know on the list of things that people fear the most, public speaking is actually greater than death. People fear public speaking more than they fear dying. So if that's a lot of you out there, like if you're involved in any kind of business or entrepreneur and you want to get in front of more people or you want to grow and influence or whatever you want to do, I understand that is a massive, massive fear for a lot of people. And trust me, that's why I did this 14-day challenge, you guys. I'm like, I have to get on a Facebook Live for 14 days. I mean, maybe I'm good for like a couple a month, I know some people out there have never even done one. I mean, there are people in this challenge that have never done a Facebook Live that are showing up every day, and I think it's the coolest thing ever. And man, my first Facebook Lives, they sucked. And some of them still suck. This one may suck. I don't know. Okay? But how big is your fear? How big is it? You guys, I want to hear your fears. I want to see them in the comments. I really do. I really, really do. Because I don't think everybody completely understands what it means to actually name it and talk about it. What's up, Melissa? Hey, Kathy. You were 2. What was number 2? Number 2 was naming it. I'm going to go back over it, Kaylin. Don't worry. I'm going to wrap it up here in a minute because I got to go get my kid. What time is it? I don't even know. So how big of a deal is it really? So you get caught up. When it comes to fear, we get caught up in the stories that we tell ourselves about how big our fear is. Are you going to die? Are you going to die if you tell somebody how you feel? Are you going to die if you decide that you want to go back to school for something, but you fear what other people might think about it, or you fear that you might not be good at school again, or you might die if you decide to change your job to do something that you actually enjoy, or you might die to get on a Facebook Live. Like, what is actually going to happen if you do the thing that you're afraid of? Okay. And I'm gonna end with a funny story, and I promise I'm gonna let you guys go. So like I said, we get caught up in the stories that we create, and the fear tends to be worse than the actual thing. The fear of being average. Oh man, I will say something about that, Aiden. I think one of my biggest fears is the fear of leaving no impact. And I think that's what you're saying. like leaving no impact on this world, leaving nothing behind, and being mediocre. I don't want to have a mediocre life. I don't want to be a mediocre person. I don't want to have a mediocre impact. I don't want to be mediocre in helping people. I want to share everything that I have learned in my life to this point and then grow from it and learn more. So I get that. I totally get it. But here's my last story. And it's ridiculous and people are surprised by it. And then, people make fun of me. Like my own husband makes fun of me for this, but that's fine because you know what? He would never do it because he would be afraid to do it. And I hope he's listening. He's out there. I hear him walking around. So this was like back in 2014. There's this thing that I don't know if you guys know about, but you can actually compete in legit air guitar competitions, like playing a fake guitar on stage in front of hundreds of people. Like US Air Guitar, go look it up on Facebook. It's an actual real thing. It's a real thing. And I met a guy on the streets of Chicago. It sounds like a ridiculous story, but it's the truth. And he was a cool dude. And we just struck up a conversation. And I don't even know how it came up, but he's like, yeah, I compete in air guitar. I'm like... Cool story, bro. Okay. And he's like, no, for real, I just filmed a Dr. Pepper commercial. And I'm like, say what? Excuse me? What? He does. He has a Dr. Pepper commercial. Justin Howard. I will tag him in this Facebook Live. You guys can go find him and go Google the Dr. Pepper commercial. His name on stage is Nordic Thunder, and he is a badass. So he was like, hey, I think that you should just give it a shot. And I'm like, yeah, no thanks. And I went back after my vacation, went back to Nashville, and it kept like eating at me. Like, why am I still thinking about this ridiculous thing? And, it came out, like, the more I thought about it, the more I realized that the ridiculousness of it scared me. Getting up in front of people that I don't know, doing something that feels completely uncomfortable and unnatural, and making a complete fool out of myself, essentially, scared the bejesus out of me. Like, I was not okay. And in that moment, I said, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. So I created a character. Her name is Little Miss Iron Miss, and she loves America and 80s hair metal. And I had like 3 weeks to prepare. I had to pick a song. I had to create an entire routine. Like it was like a 60-second routine, stand up on stage, like go to this thing that was sponsored in Nashville. And I competed. I lost by like 0.2 points. I don't even know how they score these things. I think it's for like, style and accuracy because, playing an air guitar, you gotta be super accurate. And then there was like your airness or whatever, I don't know. But they actually extended an invite to me to go to the Dark Horse competition in Denver, Colorado. And I got on a plane and I went and I competed on a bigger stage in Denver, Colorado, like a month later. No, maybe it was like 2 weeks later or a week later. Gosh, I can't even remember. I have pictures from this. I will try to find them and share in the comments. But yeah, totally ridiculous. So I learned so much about myself. I think that was probably one of the greatest things I ever did for myself, though. It was probably one of the greatest things because after that, nothing could faze me. Not a freaking thing could faze me because I just got up in front of people multiple times and played an imaginary guitar and did this whole thing. And I let them judge me. I literally let them judge me because they were judging me, but I didn't care what my friends thought. My friends came to support me. They came to probably maybe to laugh at me. I don't know. But you know what I learned? I learned how to laugh at myself And I learned that I could do anything if I just stopped and didn't let the fear overcome me. And I could learn something every single time that I did it. So, with that being said, now you know a little bit about me. Embrace it. Embrace your fear. Name it. How big of a deal is it really? Put it into proportion. Are you gonna die? Are you gonna die? What's gonna happen? Those are the three things. So listen, recently I actually read one of the best articles that I have ever read on how to conquer fear. So if you want my source on my favorite article on how to conquer fear, there's actually 14 different points in that article. Message me, shoot me a message. I'd be happy to send it to you. I hope you guys have found some value in this. Hashtag value. If you found some value, please name your fear. I would love to hear about it. Again, my name is Talia Reiser. Hashtag live if you were live. Hashtag replay if you were on the replay. You want those sources, because I'll tell you what, this article legit is like, bam, point by point. Everything is super spot on with how to conquer fear. So if you struggle with fear, you want that, I would be happy to send it to you. I love you guys. Hashtag value. I love you, and I will talk to you soon.